Well, hello everyone, and welcome here to FNL Gridiron. Nick and Astis, Steve Beals with you, getting set for what should be another jam-packed show here ahead of Week 4. It's going to be a jam-packed weekend for us, that's for sure. We've got Jay Pinsel, an old friend of the show, staff writer at the Seacoast Media Group, going to tell us what's going on in D1 East ahead of the big Winnicott-Exeter showdown. We'll preview that with Jay coming up in about 10 or 15 minutes. Londonderry head coach Jimmy Lozon got the Lancers in an unfamiliar spot opening up the season at 1-2. They look for a big rivalry win this weekend at Pinkerton. We'll talk to Coach Lozon at about 6 o'clock. And then our final guest, Anthony Nalen, third-year head coach of Bishop Girton, got the Cardinals flying high, undefeated through 3 weeks. They've got a big game coming up against Salem on Saturday night. Triple header this weekend on Friday night lights. New Hampshire. It begins tomorrow night in Derry with the Mac Plaque game. Londonderry at Pinkerton, one of our biggest broadcasts of the season, set to come your way at about 6:45 tomorrow night. 7 o'clock is the kick between the Lancers and the Astros. Saturday, we're right back at it with a 1 o'clock start. Winnicott at Exeter. That's a rivalry that goes back nearly 100 years. And both teams are 3-0 in 2025. So that should be fun. Again, the kick, 1 o'clock. Our coverage begins at 12:45. Winnicott at Exeter on Saturday. And then a Saturday night special to wrap the whole thing up. Salem at Bishop Girton. Blue Devils look to rebound after their loss against Pinkerton. Bishop Girton looks to improve to 4-0. That's a 6 o'clock Saturday night kick live from Stello Stadium in Nashua. We'll be on the ground at about 5:45. So there it is, Steve. 3 guests lined up for tonight. 3 games lined up for this weekend. A great way to kick off week number 4 statewide.
Absolutely, Nick. We got 2 games this weekend that are definitely, games that are going to have a huge impact on the rest of the season. And, the MAC plaque just speaks for itself. But right now, you look in the way Pinkerton's playing, and then with Londonderry's playing, in some ways, these games never really matter that much for as far as the wins and loss record, because it's just such a competition between these 2 teams. However, the other 2 games I think are really, really important to really develop who's going to be a top-end contender. You got 3-0 Exeter against 3-0 Winnicott. Winnicott coming to Exeter. That's a big game right there. When you look at opponents that they've played, you kind of look at them and you say to yourself, well, Timberlane, Winnicott beat 19-7. Exeter beat them 24-20. So if you go by that common opponent, you're looking there at something that's pretty even when you come in. But anything can happen. That's, as you said, 100-year rivalry. Think about that in the state of New Hampshire. Lord Dartmouth might have been watching them the first couple of years. Who knows? But the other game that the other common opponent is Manchester Central beats Concord 13-7, and then Londonderry Concord beats Londonderry 27-14. So I've kind of tried to do a quick breakdown, Nick, of where we are right now. I can come back to that if you like, but only take a second. But I kind of got some breakdowns here. When you look at the opponents, what we're starting to gather now is kind of 3 different tiers. Pinkerton and Bedford, both 3-0, played the top brass. Pinkerton's played Salem, beat them. Bedford's played Nashua South, beat them. They're both 3-0. Those teams right there are just, to me, they're just kind of in a class all their own. But then what happens next is just everything that guys like us love to see. I got Nashua South, Bishop Girton, Manchester Memorial, Salem, Exeter, Winnicott. I have all them in that contender tier, and we're going to see a lot this weekend of how that middle tier is going to break out. And then I set the third thing into teams you just don't want to have to play. Merrimack, Oyster River, Portsmouth Oyster River, Manchester Central, Concord, and then I'm going to throw Nashua North in there as well, because I think those teams are in a tier. Doesn't mean that they can't gravitate up very quickly with some good wins, but you look at the difficulty of it. It just looks to me, Nick, like they're at that next level, but anything can happen when you look forward. I mean, there's other teams like Wyndham. They won last week. They could, but they're going to have to show in the next few weeks They got to put together some wins there. But those are the teams that I have. I just have Bedford and Pinkerton in a special place at the top. And when and if they ever play each other, that's going to be one heck of a matchup there. I don't see them dropping games too soon. But I'm sure Londonderry will give them a fight. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I think this is, working out to be a very good. We always talk about this when you get 7, 8 teams that are growing and contending. That's going to make a lot of fun at the end of the season. The preliminaries are probably going to be a darn good round. The quarterfinals are probably going to be a darn good round because of what we see here, really. So
Yeah,
that's what I got so far.
As we know, a few years ago, Division I expanded the tournament field from 8 teams to 13, so we get an extra weekend of playoff football. And as you mentioned, I think D1 deep enough to warrant the 13 spots, so we should get some action in that first round for sure. All right, an old friend of ours, Jay Pinsel, is in the on-deck circle. He is going to join us next when we come back. You are watching FNL Gridiron. It's presented by Beals Insurance.
Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Maybe it's leaning too close to your home. Maybe it's not healthy. Or maybe you just don't like it there. No matter what the reason is, if you need tree work or pruning, call Accurate Tree Service. They have the right equipment and expertise to properly diagnose, treat, or remove trees, no matter how difficult the terrain. Perhaps simple, careful pruning by our certified arborist is all you need to manage your trees and shrubs. When it comes to your tree care, contact the full-service tree care experts today. Accurate Tree Service, because you only get one chance to take a tree down right.
Are you a quarterback who is ready to take your game to the next level? Well, then it's time to join TKQB Academy. Founded by former UNH standout Trevor Knight, TKQB Academy has worked with student athletes from around New England, helping young quarterbacks to reach their full potential. TKQB Academy offers one-on-one and group sessions that will help you instantly improve your accuracy, timing, mechanics, and footwork. So be the best QB you can be at TKQB Academy. Call 603-732-7194 or reach out on Instagram at TKQBA. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include discount tickets, cards, and calendar raffles to hundreds of local merchants throughout the New England area. Don't waste another season. Raise more funds than ever before and become another football program in New Hampshire that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today.
Back here on FNL Gridiron, we're presented by Beals Insurance. Nick and Astis with Steve Beals. We're live every Thursday at 5:30. We're getting set for a big weekend here on the channel. 3 games, all live, all in full 1080 HD, coming your way. We begin tomorrow with the Mac Plaque game. Big rivalry between the towns of Derry and Londonderry. The Lancers are in Pinkerton, Londonderry at Pinkerton tomorrow night, beginning at 6:45. The kick is at 7. Saturday, we've got 2 coming your way, beginning in the afternoon. Winnicott at Exeter, live from Bill Ball Stadium. 1 o'clock the kick, 12:45, our pregame coverage. And then Saturday night, to wrap it all up, we're down in the gate city of Nashua, Salem at BG. 2 teams off to a good start in Division 1. 5:45 is the pregame, 6 o'clock is the opening kick. We'll preview the action with Jimmy Lozon, longtime Lancer head coach. He's coming up in about 15 minutes or so. And we wrap up tonight's show with Bishop Girton head coach Anthony Nalen. But joining us now, staff writer from the Seacoast Media Group and friend of the show, Jay Pinsel, returns, makes his season debut here on FNL Gridiron. Jay, how are you tonight?
I am well, and you guys, how are you?
Good. Great to see
We're
you, Jay.
always good.
Always good to see you too. You guys do a tremendous job throughout the state, and I know everyone down here in the Seacoast appreciates what you guys do for the entire state of New Hampshire football.
We appreciate that, Jay. We know you're working hard as well. Check out Jay's latest pieces on seacoastmediagroup.com. Jay, I think you put your Nostradamus hat on last year when you predicted the rise of Winnicott. You outlined that they had a young team, that they were gaining experience in real time last year at the varsity level, and here they arrive in 2025 at full steam. 3-0 out of the gate, looking to make it 4-0 with a road win at arch rival Exeter this weekend. Obviously, Jay, they seem to be performing to your expectations 3 weeks in, correct?
Yeah, they're playing very well. I said that last year based on this year's junior class that went undefeated as freshmen. They played all the top teams in Division I in the freshman season. They went undefeated. A lot of them got a lot of varsity experience last year as sophomores. They went 6-3 in the regular season, then played at Memorial in the playoffs, fell in that game, and started the season strong here with wins over Spalding and Timberlane and Dover, and it can't be a better matchup when you have both Exeter and Winnicott and enter week 4, both 3-0 on the season. It just calls for a great afternoon of high school football, and I, for one, am looking forward to watching this game on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see you there in Exeter. Should be a big crowd as well. Any differences that you've seen with this group compared to Winnicott teams in the past, or is it basically what we should expect, that Veer offense under Coach Frank Hoare?
Yeah, they're really not running the Veer as much as they've had in the past. They're utilizing a very strong-armed senior quarterback in Sean Griffin. He has he throws a good deep ball. He has a couple good receivers and juniors, Jackson McDonald, the younger brother of Mason McDonald, who graduated last year, and Jackson was all-state last year as a sophomore. And then they got this kid who came back to football, Brian McCown, probably about 6 feet, 180. He played on that freshman team as 2 years ago. Decided to golf last fall, and now he's back with football. And I know Ryan Francoeur is very happy to have Brian McCown as another weapon to go along with Jackson McDonald, with two very tall, athletic receivers that Sean Griffin can throw the ball to. So they are running the ball a little bit with Harvey Reynoso, a senior, and another senior, Dom Mancini. Neither one of those kids are big, but they're fast and they're not afraid to get hit. Mancini's he's listed at 5'8" in the program. I don't know if he's that big, and that kid is fearless. He throws his body into anybody, and he just hops right back up. So they don't have the size at running back as they've had in previous years, but this tandem of Reynoso and Mancini are very valuable back there in the backfield, and it's a good balance between run and pass this year for the Warriors.
Steve?
Jay, thanks for coming on. Always great to see you. Appreciate your material on Seacoast Online. Really, really helps get things started and geared up for especially the early part of the season where Nick and I are really trying to see, because we're going across the whole state. It's you do your best you can. But I do have a question about this upcoming game. I think this thing is really, really important for both of these teams, that being Winnicott and Exeter. I look at a common opponent, Timberlane. Now, I left them out of the teams you don't want to play, but they and Londonderry are both right on that edge. Throw them in there because Exeter defeats Timberlane week 1, 24-20. Week 2, Winnicott defeats Timberlane 19-7. So Timberlane, is Timberlane that good? because those are two good football teams, and they were right there, right to the end. I was able to see the Exeter game. I wasn't able to see the Winnicott at Timberlane. However, what are your thoughts on Timberlane, and how do you see that matchup, the parity between how they did against Timberlane, both these teams?
That's a great point. I've talked about that this week with a few other people, where Timberlane is the common opponent between these two in the first 3 weeks, and Exeter rallied in the last minute to pull out a 24-21 win. Then week 2, Timberlane returns the opening kickoff for a touchdown. So they're up 7-0, 12 seconds into the game. And from there on out, the Winnicott defense just shut down Timberlane. Santasoso, the probably one of the premier wide receivers in Division I for Timberlane. I think he had 3 catches for like 20 yards. Jackson McDonald was lined up on him all night. And I was very impressed with Winnicott's defense that night, holding the Timberlane offense off the scoreboard, with their only touchdown coming against the special teams on the opening kickoff of the game.
Right. Dover. So I looked at the next tier. What do you look at next between this game? And you got Dover, Winnicott beating Dover 21-14. Portsmouth Oyster River 35-0, I think, Nick, against Dover. And that yet Winnicott beats Portsmouth Oyster River 42-34. So that tells you a lot right there about how strong Exeter is. But I'm just wondering about the close game with Dover. You know, why, if you look at the way Timberlane went, am I reading something in there? You know what I mean?
No, I think that's another good point. I think who knows, but maybe Winnicott was looking past a Dover team that had scored only 1 touchdown in the first 2 weeks. Dover was outscored, I believe it was 66-6 in those first 2 weeks, with losses against Portsmouth, and I think Memorial was their second game. I could be wrong on that. So maybe Winnicott looked ahead a little bit, looking ahead to this week 4 matchup with Exeter, but Dover got on the board 7-0. Then halfway through the third quarter, they score again 14-0. And then what I really think turned the tide in that game is Dover was driving down the field up 14-0. It was an apparent touchdown that would have put them up by 3 scores, but they were called for offensive pass interference that negated that touchdown, backed Dover up, and from there, again, like they did at Timberlane, the Winnicott defense just locked down the combination of Cooper Gagne, a quarterback, and his top receiver Jackson Brock, and Harvey Reynoso got Winnicott on the board with a small touchdown run, and then Reynoso again scored halfway through the fourth quarter to tie the game. And then Sean Griffin scored the game-winning touchdown on a 1-yard run. So Winnicott had scored on 3 of their last 4 drives of that game against Dover. And I think a lot of teams would have panicked getting down 14-0 halfway through the third. But Ryan Francoeur really loved the resiliency of that team, not giving up, fighting back, getting that first score to get on the board, having the defense stop them again, getting that game-tying touchdown, and then winning it in the final minute. So I think the game did not start well for Winnicott against Dover, but Ryan Francoeur really loved how his team responded and was able to come back, rally, and pull out a win against a Dover team that's 0-3. But make no mistake, Eric Cumbo over there, he's got some players over there. And I think that's a team that I would put in a category where if you get in the playoffs with the combination of that quarterback and receiver, that's another team that I wouldn't want to face in the playoffs. Dover may be 0-3, but I think as the season progresses, they're going to get better. And I think was very fortunate to get out of Hampton last week with the win.
Jay, real quick before you go, Manchester Memorial over on the East as well. What a body of work, that coaching staff and what's going on in that program year after year after year. We got a little peek at them in the Jamboree. I have not been able to see them since, but when you look at this, Central Providence go down, win a tight one, 14-13. very similar to Portsmouth over Dover, 30-6. Memorial beats them, kind of a common number there. And then they go and play Portsmouth Oyster River and win that game 19-14. What can we say about that program? What the coaching staff is doing with these young men?
Yeah, they've done a phenomenal job the last 3 or 4 years building that program. They're fast, they're big, athletic, talented. Winnicott lost to them last year in the first round of the playoffs, and that was a very strong game. And I think Division I East right now you have 3 teams that are 3-0, and they're going to beat up on each other here in the next month or so. Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if you get 3, and then you get those 3, and then you have Portsmouth, who's a very solid team as well. So
I like them.
Who knows? Division I East is strong this year, top heavy with those 3 teams, but I don't think Portsmouth is very far back from them, as evident in its only 1-score loss against Exeter. So Memorial strong, fast. Winnicott has got them later on in the year, and that'll be a tough game for Winnicott, and it's going to be a tough game for Memorial. Just a lot of good high school football so far in the first 3 weeks of the year.
If you look at Memorial, they couldn't ask for a better progression in schedule. They have Central, Dover, Portsmouth. Next week they go up against Timberlane. That's just a great contest for them as they continue to build and grow. Timberlane, I'm sure, will give them a good fight. Then you got Spalding, and then the last 4 games: Winnicott, Nashua, Pinkerton, and Exeter. Couldn't be a better schedule for them to build the program and go in. You're going to have a lot to write about. You're not going to be having to. I mean, seriously, you got a lot. There's a lot of big games in the East coming up, and it's great to see it deep and very, very competitive program. So you're going to have a lot of fun this year.
It is. It's already been a fun 3 weeks, and I'm sure the next 6 weeks of the regular season is going to be better than the first 3 weeks, and then the real fun begins when the tournament starts.
Keep us posted, will you?
Of course.
Back to Nick. Course. Great seeing you, brother.
You too. Thank you for having me.
Great. You've definitely got your hands full this year. That could be the most competitive conference in Division I. Jay, we appreciate it as usual. We'll see you tomorrow Saturday, in Exeter, and we appreciate the time tonight. Thank you.
Come say hello, Jay.
I definitely will. Thank you.
All right.
This is Jay Pinsel, staff writer for Seacoast Media Group, joining us here on FNL Gridiron, previewing that Winnicott at Exeter battle, which we will bring your way live on Saturday beginning at 12:45. Coming up, Jimmy Lozon of the Londonderry Lancers, hoping to get a big road win tomorrow night in the Mac Platt game against Pinkerton. He joins us next. You are watching FNL Gridiron, presented by Beals Insurance.
Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Maybe it's leaning too close to your home. Maybe it's not healthy. Or maybe you just don't like it there. No matter what the reason is, if you need tree work or pruning, call Accurate Tree Service. They have the right equipment and expertise to properly diagnose, treat, or remove trees, no matter how difficult the terrain. Perhaps simple, careful pruning by our certified arborist is all you need to manage your trees and shrubs. When it comes to your tree care, contact the full-service tree care experts today, Accurate Tree Service, because you only get one chance to take a tree down right.
Are you a quarterback who is ready to take your game to the next level? Well, then it's time to join TKQB Academy. Founded by former UNH standout Trevor Knight, TKQB Academy has worked with student athletes from around New England, helping young quarterbacks to reach their full potential. TKQB Academy offers one-on-one and group sessions that will help you instantly improve your accuracy, timing, mechanics, and footwork. So be the best QB you can be at TKQB Academy. Call 603-732-7194 or reach out on Instagram at TKQBA. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include discount tickets, cards, and calendar raffles to hundreds of local merchants throughout the New England area. Don't waste another season. Raise more funds than ever before and become another football program in New Hampshire that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today.
All right. We're working on getting Coach Lozon all set up here to join us momentarily. Nick and Astis, Steve Beals with you. It's FNL Gridiron. It's presented by Beals Insurance. We're live every Thursday at 5:30. Triple header coming up this weekend, beginning tomorrow night with the Mac Platt game, one of the most highly anticipated regular season broadcasts of the season. And we're live in Derry tomorrow night at 6:45. Kickoff comes your way at 7. Then 2 games coming up Saturday. Both are live in full 1080 HD. We're on the Seacoast at 1 o'clock. Exeter and Winnicott, a rivalry nearly a century old. Spoke with Jay Pinsel a moment ago. He helped us preview that one. 1 o'clock is the kick tomorrow between Exeter and Winnicott. And then finally, we're in the Gate City for the nightcap. That's Salem at BG. 6 o'clock kick, 5:45 pregame. Cardinals trying to stay undefeated. Salem hoping to get back on the winning track to improve to 3-1. We'll speak with Cardinal head coach Anthony Nalen coming up in about 10 minutes or so. While we wait for Coach Lozon here a moment, Steve, your big takeaway there from the conversation we had with Jay Pinsel.
I kind of had it in my head, probably improperly. I really like Coach Pafford's team. I like their defense. They flow to the ball. I'm sorry, did I say Portsmouth or Oyster River? I'm sorry about that. I really value what that coaching staff. They do a great job, and defensively, they've looked very strong. And one of the things that is important is if you look at them defensively all year long, you're talking they lost 42-34 against Exeter. That's by no means a runaway. And I think Exeter's a very good football team. They lost to Manchester Memorial, who's rolling right now, 19-14, and then they beat Dover 35-0. There's a lot that can happen with that team as the year goes on. So I think if I was going to take a takeaway from Jay has convinced me that it's even broader, the East. The East is even broader with competition. You've got clearly Winnicott and Exeter to 3-0. You've got Portsmouth Oyster River. You got Manchester Memorial. He speaks very highly of Coach Coomba's team, and I do remember they had some firepower if they can work it together. And then you got Timberlane, who's hanging around close in every single game. It's a very competitive division, and I kind of listened to what Jay said. You said it, Nick, kind of put his predictive hat on there, and he's been right almost every single time when he talks about the quality and the level of teams play. He's very deeply into that Eastern Division and knows kind of top to bottom what's going on. So that instead of having 3 teams, there's really 5, maybe even 6 teams in there that are going to be competitive as we go forward, and probably all of them are teams you don't want to play, especially if Dover continues to ride that wave. Spalding kind of in a little further back there, still struggling, but very deep division.
The Red Raiders did get a win in week number 2 over Keene, so they are capable, as we know, of playing winning football. But you're right, D1 East loaded really top to bottom, and it'll be interesting to see which team remains undefeated. Teams perhaps plural if Memorial can get a win as well, but we know somebody's got to lose in that battle of the unbeatens between Exeter and Winnicott. Mm-hmm. All right, we're working on getting Coach Lozon up and running here. He should join us any moment. That game tomorrow night, Steve, expected to be attended by thousands in Derry. It's one of the bigger crowds we're expecting to see this season. It's year in and year out, whether it's in Pinkerton or in Londonderry. The turnout is usually tremendous, and a lot of eyeballs are going to be on that game from around the state tomorrow night. Pinkerton is 3-0. Londonderry is 1-2. A little bit of a different scenario than we're used to at this point in the season. The Lancers with back-to-back defeats after an opening season win over Alvern. They fall to Concord, and then last week at the buzzer, basically, against Exeter on a last-minute kick. How big of a game is this for both teams? Obviously, Pinkerton wants to win on their home field and stay undefeated, and Londonderry hoping to avoid an unthinkable third straight loss.
Yeah, one of the things you have to look at here, they got Pinkerton, and then they have Duxbury, and then they have Manchester Central, who is a spoiler team this year. You got to have Coach Ray. He's got some good talent on that football team, and they're showing up every week now. So then he's got Salem, then he's got Bedford. So this is a real big game this week if they can pull it off, because playoffs begin to come into play here. If all of a sudden you've got to play, you lose to Pinkerton, then you play Pinkerton. I mean, it's a tough schedule that Londonderry has this year, really tough. But Jimmy Lozon has a way of utilizing film. He's a huge film guy, and he really gets to know every single player on every single play, what they're made of. He's not afraid to make changes. We saw the 4-quarterback routine. Jimmy does all kinds of things on all three phases of the game. Handoffs during when he's got a couple of great runners, utilizing the handoff on special teams. He's just a very, very creative coach, and he's going to squeeze every ounce of lemon juice out of the lemon this year. So there's something about this game. You go all the way back to Coach Sawyer. I know people that have grew up in, born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s, and were all part of this Londonderry team. Then you got Pinkerton having their runs where they become powerhouses for a number of years. Going back 3 or 4 years ago, Londonderry was just really kind of taking it to Pinkerton there for a while. And I said to myself, wow, is this some new trend? Then all of a sudden, here we are the last couple of years, it's gone the other way. So you never know when the fault line's going to happen and it's going to turn things around the other way. And I don't think you can take records and really give it its normal due when you play, because there's going to be a lot of emotion tomorrow from Londonderry coming out there. Some of their teammates that had played with them last year are playing for Pinkerton this year. I'm sure there's some emotions on both sides of the ball, but it's going to be a tall order because Coach O'Reilly's team looks very, very solid, and they seem to be multidimensional. They have great players in all different positions, but when you look at Londonderry, they went 14-27 to Concord. I remember when you were reading that off, Nick, after the game, and then they go into Exeter and they a nail biter, 23-21. I think Exeter is extremely good football, and that's their last game. So, did they find the recipe? Work it in almost with a tie, almost pull that one out with Exeter. Are we looking at something there that Londonderry could be better than much better even than their record suggests? So we'll see. It's always a good one. Always a good one. I love.
And again, this rivalry, as you touched on, goes back a long, long time. Of course, Coach O'Reilly's been there for 45 years. Coach Lozon, I believe, it's in season number 11 or 12. And it's been quite the role for Londonderry over the last half dozen years. They've been in the Division I championship game 5 of the last 6, including last year. Pinkerton knocked them off in the finale, and we get a rematch of the 2024 Division I state championship.
One more quick thing. I've watched Coach O'Reilly, oh my gosh, since 2001. I've always been fascinated with legendary coaches, which he clearly is. Hall of Fame coach, one of the best the state's probably ever seen. And he's teasing us every now and then, kind of kids around very nicely about, I'll be out of here by this, or I don't know how long I'm going to stay. I mean this sincerely. Coach O'Reilly is, last year, I watched the way he coached his football team last year. And I watched the way nothing's changed this year. He's on a high as far as coaching. Yes, he's got the goods, but he utilized and managed that championship game, the semifinals against Bedford. That doesn't happen just on the field alone. That happens with great preparation. And I hope if he's going to coach, I just hope he stays around a long time, because he's really coaching at I feel, a very high level. It's amazing after 45 years to still have all that passion and still that desire. But yet he's very calm and cool, as is Coach Lozon. These two coaches I love to see go against each other because I have immense respect for both of them and like them personally.
We're looking forward to that game.
Coach O'Reilly is on cue. That championship game,
Yeah.
The way he utilized his talent last year was phenomenal.
Yeah. Cat and mouse tomorrow for sure. We'll be looking forward to that. We're going to have to catch up with Coach Lozon down the road. Unfortunately,
that's too
technical
bad.
issues tonight, but we will speak with Coach Lozon sooner rather than later. Speaking of sooner rather than later, one final break, and then we get to Anthony Nalen to preview the Saturday night game between Salem and Bishop Girton. The Cardinal head coach coming up next. In our final interview, you are watching FNL Gridiron. It's presented by Beals Insurance.
Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Maybe it's leaning too close to your home. Maybe it's not healthy. Or maybe you just don't like it there. No matter what the reason is, if you need tree work or pruning, call Accurate Tree Service. They have the right equipment and expertise to properly diagnose, treat, or remove trees, no matter how difficult the terrain. Perhaps simple, careful pruning by our certified arborist is all you need to manage your trees and shrubs. When it comes to your tree care, contact the full-service tree care experts today, Accurate Tree Service, because you only get one chance to take a tree down right.
Are you a quarterback who is ready to take your game to the next level? Well, then it's time to join TKQB Academy. Founded by former UNH standout Trevor Knight, TKQB Academy has worked with student athletes from around New England, helping young quarterbacks to reach their full potential. TKQB Academy offers one-on-one and group sessions that will help you instantly improve your accuracy, timing, mechanics, and footwork. So be the best QB you can be at TKQB Academy. Call 603-732-7194 or reach out on Instagram at TKQBA. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include discount tickets, cards, and calendar raffles to hundreds of local merchants throughout the New England area. Don't waste another season. Raise more funds than ever before and become another football program in New Hampshire that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today.
Nick and Astor, Steve Beals with you. It's FNL Gridiron presented by Beals Insurance. Thursday at 5:30 here on Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. We're presented by Beals Insurance. We appreciate Jay Pinsel of the Seacoast Media Group for joining us. Hoping to reconnect with Jimmy Lozon some point in the future. Joining us now, Cardinal head coach Anthony Nalen. Bishop Girton is 3-0, looking to stay undefeated. Tough matchup coming up this weekend at home, Saturday night
There he is.
against Salem. Coach, how are you? Thanks for coming on.
Hey, gentlemen, how we doing?
We are good, thank you. I know you're
Like
busy.
that backdrop there.
Yeah, that is.
I'm in Mr. Brown's office.
Wow.
TV, so. Oh yeah, he's fancy.
I thought it was a TV studio. You guys built a new room on there or something.
No.
Coach, before we get going, where is Pathfinder Tech, that week one win? That's been an elusive question for us. Where is it?
So it's in Palmer, Massachusetts. It's probably half the distance between Worcester and Springfield, and a little bit south. Kind of pins it.
Shrewsbury area, probably, right?
Yeah, a little bit left of Shrewsbury. Yep.
Yeah.
And no problem in that one. No problem in week 2 or 3 either. You guys look good in the Jamboree when we saw you in 2 quarters. against Manchester West. Tell us about this team. Still young, but experienced as well, particularly at the quarterback spot. Seems like some of those veterans you have, Coach, have made strides in 2025. Your assessment?
Yeah, I'd say that we're definitely a senior-led team. A lot of the culture is driven through them. They've been here for 3 years with me now, which is great. You get comfortable with the players that you have now in the system. I think the first 2 years is kind of feeling out where they're at and how to motivate them and whatnot. And now it's kind of, you got your guys in there. They worked really hard this offseason, whether it was in the weight room, on the field for conditioning, or 7-on-7s. They put the time in, and they had a really good preseason and got themselves in a position to play a big game week 4 against a good team in Salem.
Yeah, and it seems like perhaps the most strides that were made were in that passing attack, particularly the Bowen to Bowen connection was on display in the jamboree that we saw. Start there, Coach, with your quarterback and some of the weapons he has on the perimeter. How does that pass game look so far?
Yeah, Nate's done a really good job. He won the QB battle last year, week 2, and really hasn't looked back. He had really good strength in his arm, and he was able to run the ball, so his physical ability was good. The big thing he worked on this year was his mental game, whether that was not taking chances when we didn't need it or trying to extend plays. He sits in the pocket a lot more and delivers the ball on his reads. He gets us out of certain situations, whether it's a front or a coverage that we don't like in a certain play. So he definitely has full command. His brother stepped up. He's only a freshman. Alex Dolan got hurt during the preseason, and he kind of hopped in there. He's a very gifted player. Someone described him as a kid that when between whistles, he looks like a freshman. When the actual plays happen, and he looks like an upperclassman. So, he stepped up. We got Sam Fayed back from last year. We got Ryan Conley back from last year, 2 of Nate's targets that he likes to throw to. And then the addition of transfer and Rocco Roy kind of completes the group. And Nate feels comfortable throwing to him.
I lost Nick.
Yeah, I can't hear him either.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
There it goes. Go ahead, Nick.
Coach, it seemed like you had a freshman getting some carries in that backfield mix. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, we're starting, believe it or not, we're actually starting 3 freshmen. Will Adams at the running back spot. He's in the running back rotation, pretty deep room. Jake Bowens at the slot at receiver, and then Vinny Nalen's playing left tackle. We've been here for 3 years. We've had freshmen start all 3 years, whether that was Bishop Kearns 2 years ago, or we had a middle linebacker last year that started as a freshman. If you could play and do a good job, we put you in. Will Adams is an experienced kid. He's come from a really good program at North Middlesex and played at the national level. And, he kind of spells some of our upperclassmen and kind of strengthens that group at the running back spot.
Defensive side, Coach, what caught our attention back in August at the Jamboree was your linebacker core. Seemed like they were flying around, a lot of good form tackles, open field tackles, and a lot of, it looked like from the sidelines, a lot of pre-snap blitzes as well. Was that something you were looking to put into the game plan, particularly against the opponent that day, back against West in the Jamboree, or is that more of an overall aggressive approach defensively this year?
Yeah, I think that, with the defensive coordinator change and Coach McKenzie coming in, creating a culture and trying to pride themselves on certain things, whether that's technique or form tackling, I think you've seen that. I think the drills that we do during practice definitely show up in games. Depending on the week and who we're playing and whatnot, that'll dictate what we do. Salem's a very sound team that can beat you inside or outside, so you really can't gear up for one or the other. So it's going to be one of those things where it's more keys and an overall scheme rather than stunting and blitzing.
Steve?
Coach, I'm going to pick up right where you just left off there. There's no question there's a defensive culture that is visibly different than what I saw last year. Not criticizing last year in any way, but there is something about the technique. I'll start with the defensive line. First of all, you got some size and strength there. Obviously, you had a very good very good year since January as far as strength and conditioning. Something great's going on there, obviously. But what I really liked, well, yeah, go ahead, talk about that first, then we can go into the
No,
play.
I was just
actual
saying,
play.
all four of those guys come back from last year. They all
Yeah.
played 10 games last year, and 2 out of the 4 of them played for 2 years. So a lot of them got at least 13, 14 games on their belt, and then a couple of them have over 20. So it's a senior group in that interior core for sure.
Yeah, no question about that. But they're getting separation. They're not allowing offensive linemen to get in tight and control them. They're getting that separation. There are a lot of it. There's 2 of them I was watching in the Jamboree were just mastering 2-gap control, mastering, creating a lot of open green space for the linebacker core to see. So I just want to call those guys out a little bit too and give them some credit because I think they're making it easier. I also saw the Merrimack game as well. And they just do a super job of creating space and getting separation and always maintaining that athletic position defensively where they can still get involved in the tackle at the same time providing that. Linebacker core reads and reaction off the charts. And then the other thing that I noticed is the containment when it was necessary. To me, these athletes are, yes, they may be coming back, but it just seems to me the culture's working, whatever it is on the defensive side of the football. Both sides, really, obviously. But the defensive side really impressed me. It looks to me like you could you could play a good game and defeat the top players, top teams in the league as you guys are as well, sitting here 3-0. Your thoughts on that? Because the culture's really, really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the culture is a big piece of it, and the mindset. I think, like you said, in terms of technique and stuff, that's harped on every day in practice, and it's refreshing as a coaching staff to see those drills and consistency being put out onto game field and in film. But I mean, our biggest thing is we have Nate Bowen on the offensive side. We got Jonah Feliciano on the defensive side. He was all conference last year as a linebacker for us. He's kind of the leader and the heart and soul of that defense, and he gets everybody in the right spots and plays full throttle for 48 minutes. So, he's part of that culture in terms of Coach McKenzie and what he wants to do on the defensive side. Jonah is kind of the quarterback of that group.
Both things will go to the offensive side now. Your offensive line was, I wouldn't call it severe, but was really blocking at some serious angles, and just were completely winning that battle. One of the things I noticed was the cadence that Bowen calls seems to be very sound. The offensive line doesn't make mistakes, and they're getting off of the football and maintaining the low advantage, and they're just really moving people, opening up space. Am I right? No problem saying I'm wrong, but it just seems like he's a very good caller as far as giving his offensive lineman advantage.
Yeah, I do find it funny, though. It's sometimes in practice, we talk about practice into games. We struggle sometimes with the cadence in practice, and you scratch your head. But it works out in the game, obviously. I think offensive line-wise, Bishop Kearns and Dom Grande, they played for 2 years on the O-line. This is their 3rd year starting. Sam Doty and Max Moynihan started last year, all 10 games. So, again, that experience, it's a little bit different. They understand how to make adjustments during the game, and they're able to communicate with us as to what's going on out there. And, it's kind of refreshing, a breath of fresh air that you got guys that understand what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish, and they're all full go and trying to get that achieved.
Last quick one here, Salem. We got a chance to see them last weekend, and very, very impressive football team. They weren't able to beat Pinkerton, but they were solid, and they look. What is the area that BG's really going to? What area in the football game do you see as paramount that you have to achieve in order to come out victorious against the Blue Devils?
Yeah, I think if you look at their offense, they got a couple of big backs that can run inside and kind of soften you up, whether it's the trap or the belly. They get yards after contact. And then they have a couple speedsters on the outside that can really stretch you with their buck sweep and quick toss. And if you're fortunate enough to stop both of them, then they got 2 quarterbacks that can throw the ball. So they're a load to handle. I think the 3 key things are one, we can't give up explosive plays. We can't give up that 60, 70-yard touchdown. We got to make them earn every first down. I think the second thing is getting hats to the ball. We got to do a good job of gang tackling. Their backs are not going to get taken down by one tackle. They're just built to be big and strong and explosive. So we got to get hats to the ball. And I think the last part is winning first down. If Salem's in 2nd and 2 all night, we're going to be in big trouble. We got to get them in some 2nd and 11s, 3rd and 12s, and kind of help our defense in that regard, get some stops.
Yeah.
But I think those are the big three: stop the explosive plays, rally to the ball, and make sure that we're doing our job and getting them off on first down and getting them in a situation where it's longer.
Well, one thing for sure, you leave a coach alone for 3 years. You just leave him alone, and we saw that with Zach Matthews, what he was able to accomplish, and it certainly looks like this is a team that reflects you and your coaching staff almost more than ever. And I applaud what you've done so far. I was, as my two boys who are BG grads know, I was pretty pleased when I saw that they were able to get you as a coach. It's just one more great coach coming into Southern New Hampshire. I think you've done a great job, and your hard work over the last 2 years seems to be paying off right now. So
I really appreciate
best of luck
Thank
tomorrow. I mean it. I love both of these coaches Saturday night, and I can't wait for that game because I have a lot of respect for you and Steve, and we are so fortunate to have the staffs that we have for our young people, and your role. And I want to congratulate you on hard work and staying calm and cool, at least outside. Anyway, I don't know about inside the room, but you've done a great job, and BG's lucky to have you. Looking forward to it Saturday night. You bet.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate the time and best of luck.
Absolutely. We'll see you Saturday night.
All right,
Thank
looking
you.
forward to it. Going to be a great game, Nick.
Coach Anthony Nalen, good stuff there. He's got the Cardinals at 3-0 and a chance to be 4-0 if they can take care of business at Stello Stadium. Well, Steve, some good interviews. Unfortunately, we couldn't connect with Coach Lozon. We will moving forward, but Jay Pinsel, fantastic as always. And
he's outstanding.
Inside baseball there from Anthony Nalen as well to help us get ready for Saturday night. Steve, your final thoughts on what was, again, another informative show here on FNL Gridiron.
Yeah, let's take a look at 3 games this weekend, and they're 3 great games. You got Ryan Francoeur taking on Bill Ball. You got Coach Nalen taking on Coach Abraham, and you got Coach Lozon taking on Coach O'Reilly. Need I say any more? The reason that this state is going down to Massachusetts and beating solid programs is because the coaching staffs, the players, of course, the families, the support, but the coaches we have in this state are absolutely fantastic, and they run right through all divisions. And Southern New Hampshire football as a whole, but we focus kind of in the Division I and the regional Division II programs, going right down into to Trinity and then Plymouth, and what we saw last week, and just a powerhouse team coached well. We're very, very lucky to have these men, and we're going to have 3 games that aren't going to be a big part of these games. These kids are going to be ready, and that speaks to these individuals doing and their supporting staff doing their job. So that's the thing I take away when you think about those 6 coaches I just named. Wow, we're very fortunate.
Yeah. Final reminder: triple header begins tomorrow night in Derry. It's the Mac Black game, Londonderry at Pinkerton. 7:00 is the kick. Our coverage begins at 6:45. Saturday afternoon, we're in Exeter live from Bill Ball Stadium as Exeter plays host to Winnicott, 2 undefeated teams squaring off in Division I East. That's a 1:00 kick. 12:45 is our pregame. Saturday night, we're in the gate city of Nashua. Salem at Bishop Girton. 6:00 the kick. 5:45 the pregame. BG hoping to stay unbeaten. Salem looking to get back on the winning track. I want to thank our guests tonight, Jay Pinsel of the Seacoast Media Group, Anthony Nalen of Bishop Girton. We appreciate the effort Coach Lozon put in. Unfortunately, we were unable to connect. I want to thank the sponsors, of course, as well. Beals Insurance, MG Sports Fundraising, TKQB Academy, Accurate Tree Service, and Jewett Construction. We appreciate the support. For our director, the man behind the curtain, the wizard of replay, doing another flawless job tonight back in the Beals Insurance Studios. That's our director, Ben Beals. For my partner, executive producer Steve Beals, my name is Nick Anastas, saying so long. This has been FNL Gridiron presented by Beals Insurance.